everybody. In today's video I'll be explaining a little bit about the internet, and then I'll be explaining the differences between the surface web, the deep web and the dark net, because this is just one big maze and people ask me about this, so I just wanted to explain it. So what exactly are they like? Let's first dive into a little bit about how the internet works. So the internet, basically, most people think of it like a search engine, like Google or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo. And these search engines are pretty much only the surface web. Some of them you can use more advanced searches to find stuff on the deep web. But yeah, if you're not familiar with DuckDuckGo, DuckDuckGo is a good alternative to Google if you want to avoid being tracked and data privacy and stuff. You should go check it out if you want to. It is a pretty good search engine to search things that you want to get to the answer straight away. So how exactly do you get the information Google gives you? So Google basically indexes everything on the internet, and by indexing, think of the biggest library ever, and then you have a librarian that can take you to any book inside that library. So what happens with Google is they use these things called web crawlers, and they're like the spiders on the internet. They crawl over anywhere they can get into, any little spot they can get into, they will get into, and they will index this information for Google to use. So how does this tie into you? So basically, Google runs a bunch of algorithms and they try to best match the information to you. This is why Google collects a lot of your data, because they match specific results with you specifically, unlike DuckDuckGo, which doesn't use any of your personal information. They just give you the general answer to the question. So now let's think of the internet as an iceberg. So we have this big iceberg and it has three surfaces on it. And the first surface we have is the surface web. This is the normal piece that everyone can see. It's in plain sight, everyone can see it. Then underneath, or the middle layer, we have the deep web. And then right at the bottom we have the dark net. And well, as we know with icebergs, sometimes things happen, like the Titanic crashing into it, because they only saw the little bit at the top. So that brings me to the surface web, and this is the normal internet as we know it, and that we search on Google and find sites. This only makes up 4 to 10% of the total estimated size of the entire internet. So we have web crawlers, as I said, that index the information, but they can only index information that is readily available on the surface web. So they can't go deeper than that. They can only go to what's being put out there and display that to you. That leads to the next topic of the deep web. So the deep web, this is items on the internet that are not indexed. Most of the time they are not indexed by search engines like Google, but you can find some of these items with advanced Google searches. You can check out my video up at the top if you want to look at how to do advanced Google searches. But what's inside the deep web? So the deep web contains everything from private links to private videos on YouTube and other platforms. Anything that you've set to private, like let's say on even Facebook or Instagram, anything that you can only see or that you can only share with other people falls into the category of the deep web. So this is items that you've uploaded to a drive like Google Drive or iCloud Drive. This includes things that require a username and password. So if those web crawlers, the spiders, crawl and they see a username and password, they can't go further, because this is going into the territory of the deep web. This includes all company networks. So then we get the dark net, and The dark net, this is basically said to be 48% of the internet as a whole. The dark net, this is the black market of the internet. This is where guns are sold, drugs are sold, money is laundered, all of those bad things that people say about the internet. This is where it happens. It happens on the dark net. But now, with the dark net, you can't access it with normal browsing methods. You have to access it with anonymity. So doing this, you would probably use a browser like Tor, and then maybe, or just maybe a VPN like Proton VPN. Usually Tor is the browser being used because the Tor network makes you quite anonymous, and it helps in going to those sites, because if you're only using a VPN, it is quite complicated to go to those sites. It's not impossible, but it is more complicated than using a browser like Tor. So anyways, I want to thank you for watching this video. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and then share it with anyone you think will like it. Thank you. Bye for now.